Yeah, I mean,
whereas I'm watching it and thinking this is ridiculous. But I think,
and there is a subset of like Christian propaganda films out there. We've covered the likes of God's Not Dead and Left Behind on our podcast.
Yeah, we have an Easter tradition of doing this Christian film.
But they're a really fascinating, subgenre of film. These films that are made for peanuts. Like $1 million budget rather than multi-million dollar, and then they'll be one of the highest, most profitable films of the year that year because they know their audience they're playing to, and they play to them very well, and they're very well marketed.
There is a film coming out that you might enjoy, actually. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a comedy about this sleazy con artist who produces a Christian film to make money because the market is quite profitable. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember South Park doing something similar where Cartman was doing the Christian rock, trying to conquer the Christian rock market. So yeah, it's not an original idea, but yeah, there's a film coming out soon.
Full disclosure, I produced an Islamic rom-com because I thought that was a good market to go after. So, no judgment.
You can plug it if you want. Or what was it called again? Was it Finding Fatima?
Oh, Finding Fatima. Whatever.
Available somewhere, possibly?
I think it is now available on the likes of iTunes and stuff. If you do want to look it up, it's.
I still haven't seen it. We'll have to do it as a Diminished one day.
Yeah, I did what I could to subvert the thing. We got a trans woman in there in the background, which I'm sure will upset the
sipping a coffee
executive producers if they ever find out. But
so
I got some masturbation jokes past them.
So yeah, back to the Rapture. You've got Mimi Rodgers living in this what you could call sinful, hedonistic lifestyle.
But it's not a lack of satisfaction in that she has to sleep with other men in front of her boyfriend because she needs more. It's like she's empty inside. It's like an emotional satisfaction. It's that whole.
He's trying to fill the hole.
Yeah. There's something missing from my life, and I don't know what it is. It's that sort of longing that can often lead people to turn to religion.
Yeah, the opening scene was a bit on the nose for me.
Well, this is it. The first time I watched this film, I was seething because I couldn't tell, and I remember posting to Facebook. I think I actually tried to dig up my status, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But I do remember posting a thing on Facebook, like, I'm watching this film, The Rapture, and I can't tell if this annoying, like, woman who, like, I basically said, like, I can't tell how this is being pitched. I can't tell if I'm supposed to think what a great thing that this woman's turned her life from a life of sin towards the word of God, as if I'm going to think, wow, that's great, or if it's like a satire and I'm going to sort of think, what an annoying woman.
Well, I definitely came down on the side of there's no way a Christian wrote this and was trying to be serious, because they make no effort at all to kind of answer questions. Like someone will say, oh, well, what about this? Why does God do this? And they're like, consider the lily. And there's really no attempt at all. So I think it's written by someone who is a non-believer, or perhaps someone who is questioning them faith, but is obviously taking the piss out of.
No, I think having seen the film to the end now, I think I think this is quite a scathingly anti-religion film, to be honest. But I think it all relies on the final moments of the film for that to come together. This film was written and directed by a guy called Michael Tolkien, who's probably best known for writing The Player.
Yeah, he's directed another film called The New Age, which is about yuppies getting involved with the New Age movement. And that looks like it could be quite a good piece of satire.
I'd say he's really known for The Player, but The Rapture was his first film as a director.
Yeah, I think so.
And second as a writer. So it's quite I think it's really a film from someone who's sort of setting themselves out as a name and an auteur, And I think perhaps his career didn't really take off, perhaps, as he maybe thought it would after the Rapture. I don't think the Rapture connected with people.
What I noticed about his filmography in terms of screenplay is it looks like a jobbing career writer, like stuff like Deep Impact and
the Horn Thing as well.
Changing Lanes, but he seems like a script doctor they bring in to, maybe just flesh out the characters or whatever. Because he's usually a co-writer or, co-credit.
Yeah.
So I think he's just become a bit of a script doctor by the sounds of it. So maybe he's just a solid writer. But this feels a lot more of a writer-director kind of putting something a bit more.
That's what I mean. This feels like his film that he wanted to make to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only directed 2 films, The Rapture and The New Age, in 1991 and 1994, and then he kind of seems to have given up on directing largely. I think he's done a bit of TV since, but seems to be more of a writer than a director.
So with The Rapture, this film is obviously about someone having a mystical experience that makes them believe in God, which is basically what Gnosis is, and it explores how someone deals with that. But not just that, but it shows the devotion that people can give the more dogmatic aspects of scripture or religion. The moment they get these experiences, instead of taking a breather to comprehend what went on, she doesn't do that. She doesn't grapple with it or to try to rationalize it or think of the implications. She just has this almost creepy dedication to God, and it's kind of infuriating, and it doesn't really question the motives of God, or she doesn't really question the motives of God towards the end of the film.
But she doesn't have any clear-cut moment that makes her believe, from what I remember, does she? She just kind of falls in with a crowd of, they're bordering on being a cult, really, aren't they? They're kind of a fringe of Christianity that she finds at a time in her life when she's looking for something to fill a void, because she works as a telephone operator, so a very dull 9-to-5 office job, and then she kind of backs out at night with
that's it. Like, it's obvious that whatever the hole she's trying to fill, what she's looking for, it's because she's got a shit job that is obviously just mind-numbing.
Yeah.
The stuff she does outside of that is to try and give her some sense of life. And so, it feels like she's fixing the wrong
It's
bit.
interesting that it's always an average person who gets a gnosis, though, or has the experience. They're always working in some dull office job. Like, she's working in an office or a contact center, and you've got, like, Neo in the Matrix working in an office. In terms of
I think that's religion, I think. Religion is there as an opiate for the masses, isn't it? It's like, hey, look, your life's shit, but just do it. Stop asking questions and you'll get a reward. It's some sort of vague, non-specific reward that with no way of disproving that it'll ever happen. But it's there, believe us. And that's my view on religion, basically.
Yeah, I used to have that way of thinking, but then I had my experience and I realized it's more than it just being an idea. You have to experience it. I think it's more than just, it'd be nice if there was a God, because, before my gnosis, I was fine with not knowing that there was any indications of anything metaphysical beyond this reality. But, that's my own fault for dabbling with psychedelics in the occult. I didn't think it was going to turn out to be real or appear real to me. I was doing things like chaos magic rituals.
Wait, hang on. Chaos magic?
Yeah, have you heard of chaos magic?
It's Sonic, isn't it?
Well, I played Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah. You get the 7 Chaos Emeralds and you can become supersonic. And when you're supersonic, you can fly in space. You're invincible until you run out of rings.
The developers of the game could have easily been inspired by chaos magic. You don't have to be into religion or spirituality to practice chaos magic. Some atheists are into chaos magic, but I would do these rituals and things would come true. So yeah, some of it was low-key stuff like job opportunities I wanted, and you can definitely make the argument that I would have had this stuff happen anyway. But when I say magic, I don't mean Harry Potter shite. I mean like synchronistic type of magic, where certain things just line up. But I'm not an expert on it by any means.
I'm looking on the Sonic fandom wiki forum. I found a thread called "Chaos equals magic?" ? So we'll see. We'll see if this is what Sonic was doing.
Is it spelled with a K as well, as there is a distinction in the spelling?
No, it's not. it's spelt in like as you would spell chaos. So it's spelt how a lot of kids thought they were called the Chouse Emeralds. I remember back in the day having to argue with people. No, they're called Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah, back to the Rapture. I think the transcendental experience is more powerful and profound than just believing for the sake of believing. In this film, it doesn't really convey the power of such experiences, and then in this, it's just like one day she starts believing, and that's it.
No, you just feel like there should be a big turning point. Yeah.
I quite like that there isn't some huge moment that turns her, because I think for most people who do turn to religion like this, I don't think there is like a massive, obvious turning point. I think it is just
it's usually like just the right
your life is
when you're in a bit of a mess.
I think there is a truth to that. That's why a lot of born-again Christians are former alcoholics or drug addicts, because in a way you can sort of wipe the slate clean and restart your life, just reboot it.
One of the steps of AA, isn't it?
AA is a Christian.
Yeah, what's interesting about the AA is that the founder of the AA was actually a former alcoholic and was one of the first people to be involved with research in LSD. And he had an experience so profound that he set up the AA. He set up the AA shortly after. And one of their core principles is to put your faith in a higher power.
Cool.
Scott, I've just looked up. It's calling it a shoal of sigils?
What, in Sonic?
No, this is Chaos Magic. I'm
Yeah.
on the Chaos Magic Wikipedia page. And it's a load of symbols that are related to it. Now, are these the sorts of symbols that you were talking about seeing?
If you go into Google Images and type Nag Hammadi library, you'll get a visual reference to see what I saw on my trip. If you click on any image that looks like old papyrus, you'll see what I saw.
These symbols. Oh, that looks like the Necronomicon.
Yeah, it does actually.
The one that I've pulled up.
So you can see the language.
Wait, what am I looking for specifically?
So if you click on images, you'll see a piece of paper with the language on.
But this is just like old worldy script as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it doesn't jump out as me being, it looks like ancient Greek.
Yeah, ancient Greek, like Greek codexes.
The one I've got now looks like Lord of the Rings language.
Yeah, well, I think he may have been inspired by Gnostic ideas. A lot of authors have stories with Gnostic themes.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like something like this, it influences the world around it, and so you take a drug that affects your brain, and then you're just seeing all sorts of random triggers going from your brain. Who knows what?
To be honest, I'm not being funny, but there's flat out some of the Latin alphabet here. There's a K, there's an I, there's an E, there's a T.
I can assure you, I was just seeing. I was seeing more than your average letters of the alphabet. Yeah, it would take a lot more than that for me to be convinced there is.
In your, as you explore this topic in life, if you ever come across a purveyor of creepy old books, let me know, because I do love these things. I've always thought I'd love to have a creepy old Necronomicon book.
Yeah, there is actually a Necronomicon book. I think it was created as a novelty sort of thing. Like a prank. But what's weird about that is some people would do these rituals and they would come true. So it just goes to show that if you have a belief system, reality has got a strange way of contorting to those beliefs. But yeah, that language is what I saw on my trip, and through synchronicity, I recognized it when I stumbled upon a video on Gnosticism. So I'm still puzzled. It's so strange that would be in my, why would that be in my subconscious?
Perhaps it wasn't. I'm not here to challenge your.
Yeah, feel free to go for it.
Me, that would the most obvious explanation for that would be, you see some symbols, whatever. You see something else. Maybe it's just similar enough to make you think, oh yeah, that was it, and then your brain will manufacture the memories of yeah, that's definitely what I saw actually.
Yeah, I understand that. But when I saw it on my trip, I saw it with crystal clear clarity. And when I saw it again on the video, it wasn't a vague memory. It was the same language. And what you're saying is a valid, rational argument for what I experienced.
I must say, whenever I've been hit by, occasionally I will get struck with very severe, I don't think I've ever had deja vu, but I've had, is it deja et Am I getting
Entendu.
that saying right? Yeah. Déjà Entendu, which is the